welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Millie, and today I'm going to be showing you how I do two different kinds of eyeshadow eyeliner looks. And these are them on my eyes right now. One of them is a little bit more soft and the other one is more bold. And the reason that I love doing these looks is because I love the way that they accentuate my hooded eyes. I know that having hooded eyes, it makes it harder to do eyeshadow wings. And as much as I love black eyeliner, sometimes I just feel like it's a little too harsh and a little bit too heavy for my eyes. So I prefer to do the softer shadow wing, and then sometimes if I want it to be a little bit more bold and use a bunch of colors, I do more of a wing like this. So if you would like to see how I achieve both of these wings step by step, then keep watching. First I'm going to do the eyeshadow wing that's basically like a eyeliner but with eyeshadow instead. This one is just one of my absolute favorites to do, especially with warm tones, because it just really makes your eye look so like sultry and soft, but it elongates it because of that wing, but it's not harsh. So first I want to talk about some brushes. When I first did a wing like this on myself, I used the Sigma Pencil E30 brush, which is what that looks like. This one is really great. I have two of them because I love this brush so much. I also love it for placing eyeshadow under the lower lash line. And then the next brush, which is relatively new-ish to my collection, not really like 4 months compared to the Sigma one, it's newer, and that one is also a pencil brush, but it's even smaller and more tapered, and I actually prefer this one now that I have it to the Sigma one. But the Sigma is also a great option, and the eyeshadow palette I'm going to be using is the Soft Glam from ABH. This is just a really great warm toned palette, and the deeper shades in here are just so very rich and they look beautiful, and so that's why I reached for this palette. I'm priming my eye with the Makeup Revolution Crease Canvas in the shade Illustrate. You can use any eyeshadow base of your choice, of course. So for this look, I like to put in a crease shade and then go in with the wing and then add a shimmer shade. So of course you don't have to do all of those, you could just do the wing, but I think it just adds a little bit more of that depth to have something in the crease. Going in with burnt orange on a really small, and I'm blending that into my crease, swiping and using circular motions. And you could of course leave it at this, but I do want to add just a little bit more. So next I'm going to go in with the deeper shade, and I'm going to be using Cypress Umber. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit on my brush. And so for this part, everybody's placement is gonna be slightly different because everybody's eye shape is so different from each other. And even if you have hooded eyes, they are probably still different from my hooded eyes. So there's just so many different variations. So just kind of use the guideline, but don't necessarily copy my placement because it might not be right for your specific eyes. So what I like to do is I like to keep my eye open and kind of looking straight but down a little bit, and I'm holding a mirror so that I can see where my crease is and I can see the angle that I want it at. The moment you apply eyeliner and you're looking down, the moment you look up, it's gonna look totally different. Also, I don't recommend any type of stretching of the skin. I know it seems like a good idea because then you've like stretched the skin and you can see better, but once you let go, it's just gonna mess it all up and the placement's gonna be off. So I'm looking down and I'm basically going with the angle of my lower lash line and going upwards, and I like to just start with a really little wing, and I'm swiping down and into my upper lash line. So next I'm going to pick up a little bit more, again looking semi down. I am raising my brows so that I can keep this angle while looking down and see everything, and that's not going to affect the lash line here. And you don't have to go all the way here. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. It will all depend on your lid, and once you do this a couple of times, you get a better idea of just exactly where you want to bring it. So I'm going to pick up just a tiny bit more and tap it off, and now we're going to work on winging this out. And I'm starting right here in the corner, and I'm just slowly and lightly, very lightly swiping outwards. And then I'm gonna go in and just fix this little, making sure it's all even and sharp. Sometimes you need to build up a little bit more of the brown, so you can do that. I think I need to do that a little bit here. And so there you have it. So you can leave your lid like this or go in with a shimmer. I personally just prefer shimmer looks versus all matte looks depending on the day, but this time I want to put a shimmer on just to show you how I would go about it. I'm gonna go in with the shade Rose Pink, and I'm gonna be putting that above the liner as much as I can. And I don't really want a harsh line, so we're gonna be blending it out a little bit after. And I do bring it all the way to the end here where the liner is. So then I'm gonna take a really small fluffy blending brush, and I'm gonna pick up some of that shimmer, and I'm gonna put that a little bit in the crease just to fade it. And then I'm gonna go back in with the first blending brush I used to apply burnt orange, and I'm gonna blend it again so we don't have any harsh lines there, just a shimmer. Sometimes what happens when you apply the shimmer on the brown liner, so you can just go back over it with more brown. So next I'm gonna put on some lashes, liner, and under eye concealer, and we're gonna come back and finish this look off. So of course you don't have to put lashes on for this look, you could just do mascara, but if you do want to put lashes on with this look, I recommend something that tapers in on the inside and then is longer on the outside. So something like this, or even more contrasted, so even shorter on the inside maybe. Because what's gonna happen with the lash once it's on your eye, the longer outer edge is gonna really complement the wing. And the lashes that I put on are the Kiss lashes in the style Midnight. So the next step is to tightline your upper waterline. Even if you're not wearing lashes, it's very important because otherwise you have that kind of like skin tone color there, and it just kind of disrupts the look. And this is also what helps to make the eye appear more sultry, because everything is just nice and smooth, almost helping your lashes appear a little fuller down at the base. So I'm using the Wet n Wild On Edge Long Wearing Eye Pencil in You're the Yin, which is just a black eyeliner, and I'm just gonna line. And then to finish off the lower lash line, we want to basically connect the wing to the bottom so it doesn't look like it's weirdly just cut off and there's nothing on your lower lash line. But I'm gonna go back in with the Rephr 03 brush, and I'm gonna have very little bit on, and I'm just gonna see kind of where I left off and connect it. And we don't want to go too far in, because then it just makes your lower lash line look a little heavy, and it can actually make your eyes kind of step back and look a little bit more sunken in. So I kind of just like to go in about maybe third way in. And then for the last step, we can't forget about the lower waterline. And for that, I do not recommend a black eyeliner, because that will just look super heavy, and again, just make your eyes kind of set back, and then we'll just bring your eye down and just make it look really heavy. So I recommend using a brown liner. I'm using the Melt All Day Everyday eyeliner in the shade Columbia. And then lastly, I like to do a inner corner highlight. Again, this is of course optional. Going in with the Natasha Denona Super Glow in the shade 01 Fair, just to brighten up that inner corner. And so this is the finished look. And as you can see, it really just elongates the eye even though I have hooded eyes. And it gives them the cat eye effect without being really heavy. So next onto the second kind of eyeshadow wing that I like to do. This one is one of my favorites because you can use so many different colors. You could of course only do like one or two. I like creating this look when I want to use a lot of shades. At first I'm going to talk about some brushes that I like using to create these kinds of wings. First one is a Hakuhodo B5511 brush. This is a very short, flat, rounded edge brush, and so it has a really nice point there to use. And I like using this one to map out the wing. Next brush is also from Hakuhodo, and this one actually the number rubbed off, so I will have to find what number it is. But this brush is basically just a longer version of the other Hakuhodo brush. And this one I like using to fill in the liner, but you could also use it to map out the liner. And then of course you could just use an eyebrow brush to also do the wing. You don't need those other brushes, but there's just something about those other brushes that I prefer. This one is the Sigma Small Angle E65. And the palette I'm going to be using is the Norvina Volume 1. And again, I'm priming with the Makeup Revolution Crease Canvas. And so for this look, sometimes I like to go in with a crease shade depending on the plan of the look and the colors I'm using. But for this look, I'm not going to do that, so just keep that in mind. You can go in with a crease shade. So just like the other eye, I am going to be leaving my eye open, but this time I'm going to be pretty much just looking straight, not as much down. And I'm just gonna go and stamp on the shadow based on the angle of my lower lash line. And I'm just gonna bring it up where I feel like I wanna stop. And then next part is where you wanna connect that up into your crease. So for that, again, I'm using stamping motions. And this is where especially you need to keep your eye open because you need to see where you want to go into the crease. And I always bring it just a little bit higher because I can get a little bit of transfer. So if I was to put it like right here, it would end up transferring up to there anyway. So that's why I like to bring it a little higher. And I'm just connecting that to make sure it's a really nice sharp edge there. And you could bring this, you know, here or here or here, wherever you want. Again, depends on the look. I'm gonna kind of end it right here. So next I'm gonna grab the other brush and I'm gonna be filling in the line. Using stamping motions. So I actually want this to kind of swoop down a little bit. It's a little straighter, and I think that's partially because I'm doing it on my left eye, and just my left eye is a little harder for me to do. And I'm just gonna go in with some of the Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas and a really flat brush. This one is from Morphe. And I'm just kind of creating basically like a wave. And there you have it. So next I'm going to go in with two shimmers. The first one is the Terra Moon's UFO. It's this beautiful deep purple. And I'm going to pack that on to the center of my lid. And then I'm going to create a sharp line with that. So again, you want to close your eyes, see where your hood is, and then bring it up higher. Then on the inner portion, I'm going in with Terra Moon's Moon Tide. Creating that sharp edge, and then just blending everything together on the lid. And I'm going to go back in with the B5511 brush, and I just want to fix up the bottom here a little bit. And you're just gonna have to keep going back and forth until you get it where you want it to. Even now, after doing a bunch of these wings before, I still have to do those fixes. It's just sometimes your hand slips or whatever, and you just don't get it right the first time, and that's totally fine. So next I'm gonna throw on some lashes and put on some concealer, and we'll be back to finish the rest of the look. So put on the same style lashes as on the other eye, which are the Kiss lashes in the style Midnight. Just like the other wing for this, you want a lash that tapers in and flares out so that you can use that flare to kind of play off of the wing. Something else to watch out for, especially if you have hooded eyes, you don't want to put the flare out too low on your upper lash line because then it will end up making your eye look droopy. I recommend putting it a little bit higher up on the upper lash line. Next, just like with the other wing, I'm going to tightline my upper lash line. So next we're going to connect the wing to the lower lash line, just like on the other side. And we want to keep this pretty close into the lower lash line. And again, I'm just bringing it about a third way in. I'm going to be using a purple liner to line my waterline. This is the ColourPop Creme Gel Liner in Piggy Bank. but this will depend on the look that you create. So if you do a bronze eye, again, you can use the brown eyeliner. And then for the last step, I'm going to highlight my inner corner, and I'm using the Terra Moon's eyeshadow in Zero Gravity, which is this beautiful iridescent shade with a really beautiful purple shift in it. And so this is the finished second eyeshadow eyeliner look. This one's definitely more dramatic. So these are the two eyeshadow eyeliner looks that I like to create. They're pretty different. Both of these looks took some practice for me, and even today I'm still learning every time I go in and create one of these looks. So the expression "practice makes perfect" it truly stands, especially when it comes to eyeshadow. So don't be discouraged because it might take you a couple of times to figure it out, because everyone has such different eye shapes. And of course, you don't have to follow each of these step by step. You could kind of improvise or just do the steps that feel right for you and your technique and your look. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or if I missed anything. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.